one. There are lots of these forms up on the top shelf there. What I want to do is if I want to have something that is round or somewhat round, I need to pick two that match perfect. All right, these forms are bisque fired. So if I drape clay on top of them, the bisque mold will absorb water from the clay. We'll get it to be close to leather hard for it to be removed. And then each form would be put together. So the two sides, scored and slip, put together. That is the same way that I did this. Now, I could also, let's say, drape a form over here, let this set up, and I could simply put this form on a flat slab as well, right? I don't need to necessarily make a full round. That's another option. Know that I need to texture my slab prior to laying it on the mold, because the mold will get it to be dry. I cannot texture my clay after it is leather hard, right? So, this is not very difficult, but I'm going to do a quick demonstration on this. Some of these pieces, okay, so when I drape clay on top of a mold, it is called a hump mold. When I drape clay in the interior of a form, it is called a slump mold. Some of these pieces will work for both. Some won't, because you'll see in the interior that it's not pretty. It has like a dimple, and these are made by throwing them on the wheel, so they're thrown like this, and so they have this weird thing here. Clay is harder to drape in the interior of a form than over the exterior of a form. If you choose that you want to bring a form from your own house, you can. A bowl form will work, but if I drape clay on a plastic bowl or in a plastic bowl, say I want to replicate a bowl that I have at home that is plastic, what would happen if I put clay directly on that plastic? Does anyone know? It's going to stick. Then what's going to happen? It's going to rip when you try and take it off, or if you just keep it on, because it's stuck to the plastic, it will crack completely off. So, bisque won't do that because it's absorbing water from the clay. Plastic does not do that. So a solution would be for me to put down a sheet of newspaper on top of a plastic form as a barrier. That is possible. So if you have forms from home that you want to use, please feel free. All right, so I'm going to make sure that, if I can find my metal rib tool, there we go, that both sides have no canvas texture. I cannot say that enough. Canvas texture is negative in craftsmanship, without a doubt. All right, so I'll use a different texture. Most of the time before I choose to use a texture, I will roll out a waster slab, and I will test my textures on a waste slab before I use them on the nice slab that I rolled. Words of advice. Now, I'm going to drape the slab over the form, so I want my texture to be on the exterior of my teapot. Now, what is important is to gradually push the slab down. If I force it, it will fold. You don't want that. So slowly taper the slab down. I can do a quick cut just to get all the excess off. I'm not even in camera. Remember, I need these two halves to line up perfectly. So I'm going to want to pick this up. Sorry. I'm going to want to make sure the slab is as close as possible. And then I'll want to do it to the other side. I'm going to want these to get totally set up close to leather hard that I can lift them off and they're not going to distort whatsoever. And I could do a demonstration for that as well. Does anyone think that they're going to do this kind of form? Okay, possibly. All right. So I will do another slab on this so I'm able to demonstrate connection and all of that. Note as well that you can use organic matter. Oh, there's a leaf there. In your forms. I built this one really quick. This was whatever, stuff I found outside. What I don't do, especially because I want really full embedding of the organic matter, I allow it to burn off in the kiln most of the time. I don't try and pull this off because I want really it fully embedded. So I roll a slab, I lay on the organic stuff, I take a sheet of newspaper, put it on top, and then I use a rolling pin and just embed it in lightly. Know that you could also bring in things like lace if you want a lace texture. For that, you can fire it out as well, so you could heavily embed it, but you have to know you're never going to get it back. It's going to burn away. The other thing, at times I would have people bring in a very nice piece of lace that maybe was their grandmother's. It's going to get destroyed. Okay, I'm just letting you know that. Don't do it. But lace is often very nice too because you can roll the slab. I do not usually roll the slab with the lace on the slab roller. I'll roll the slab, then I put on the lace, I put a sheet of newspaper over that for protection, and then I use a rolling pin, and then I'll usually pull all of that out. So that is another texture that you can use, and it's an alternative texture. Know that, again, your soft slab teapot and cups all have to have texture. Texture is not done through carving. It is not done through sgraffito. It is done through pressing of something into your clay. So please note that, because I will grade as such, that all of them need to have texture. I know this is a very long demonstration, but this should have at least started you off in some ideas of cups as well as teapot forms. Do you guys have any questions for me? Yeah? Oh yeah, yeah, because I can totally use this guy, put a lid, spout, handle, or handle side handle, yeah. So I'll probably still continue this one into a teapot form if I want, yeah. So really any of them could be teapot forms. I would just increase the scale of my template, my original template for my cup. I have no idea where it is. It's around somewhere. It's just not even close to as, I don't think it's close to as long. Like it's probably like that instead. So there is a size difference in the template for my cup and teapot. Any other questions? Oh yeah, I'm going to do demonstrations on lid and spout later. For those that are cutting your lanterns, one of the things that works really well for me when I'm cutting my lantern shape is to, one, cut it out, like when I'm refining, when I'm doing little cuts, but to push the excess through. Okay, I don't try and pop it out, I try and push it through. The other thing, when I start doing this, how do I refine all of my interior edges? So every single interior edge of when you cut will look bad, as well as the interior of your form. I take a paintbrush and I smooth every single solitary surface that I cut. And that's why my images, when I cut them, look very clear. That is all about refinement, and it will make a difference in how the light comes through, how clean it looks, all of those things. So I haven't even started this, but I'll show you guys as I'm working. Yeah. All right, that was a lot of talking.